Just wait for a few minutes. You will get the sheet. I think he's new, and who else has a first day? Can you go to our Facebook page first? Shit. Who is new? You just type Imdad's PTE and IELTS on search call. Yeah, that's PTE and IELTS. Yeah. I just read the first post. So that says, another successful Imdadian is Sarthak, who has scored 90, 87, 3 and 88 in his PT academic test held on 31st August 2017. What you have to do, just press like button. Okay, please like it. So the another post is, another successful Imdadian is Anuj, who has scored 65, 70, 81 and 67 in his PTE academic test held on 31st August 2017. Did you like it? Moving to the another post, another successful Imdadian is Agraj, who has scored 69, 84, 65 and 71 in her PT academic test held on 1st September 2017. So moving to the next one, I think that's done, na? So fast? What happened? You added in the online group? Is it online group? Okay. Did you like it? All done? Okay. So we will start with the speaking session. So you have to wait for a few minutes to get the material. I just quickly give the introduction about the speaking part. So we will do describe image today. Describe image. And then read aloud. Those who has first day today, I just quickly give the introduction about the describe image. Okay. So describe image, we will get 40 seconds for preparation. Okay. $40 or 25? 25. And 40 seconds for read aloud. 40 seconds for preparation. 40 seconds for response. Okay. So you have to give the response in for 40 seconds. But here, what we do, as per Imdad sir's strategies, you have to perform only for 25 seconds. Okay. You don't need to speak for 40 seconds. Why? Because even if you speak for 25 seconds, you will get the same score. So why you should speak for 40 seconds? So just speak for 25 seconds. How do you judge there's a 45 second is over? So what you have to do, there is a progress bar. Okay. When you describe image, you will see the progress bar. When the progress bar cross this point, half point, you have to stop and you have to press next button, and you have to press yes button while speaking. Okay. So you don't need to stop after 25 seconds. You have to keep keep speaking until you press next button and until you press yes button, and after that you stop and you will go for the other describe image. And for other describe image you will again get 25 seconds for preparation and 40 seconds for response, and you have to give response for only 25 seconds. Okay, all good for this? And for the read aloud you will get almost sometimes 35 to 40 seconds for the preparation, and same for the it depends, same for the response. Do we need to speak for 25 seconds in read aloud as well? No. To speak for, you have to speak as much. Once you finish the all your paragraph, to press the next button and then yes button. In this case, you have sheets. Cute. Do we have sheets? You also in that story? Do you have the sheet? I think no. Can you just distribute? Just pass it. No. In read aloud, what you have to do immediately after you finish the paragraph, immediately after you stop reading, then you have to press immediately in 1 or 2 seconds. You have to press next button and then yes button quickly, because after even in the read aloud, if you take like if you didn't press the next button for after 3 seconds or 4 seconds, you will it will deduct your marks in fluency. So even after in read alouds, you have to press. Once you finish, quickly press next button. In all speaking part, always keep your mouse point in the next button. Immediately you finish that task, press next. Okay, and then I will give you 5 minutes for describe image, and then we will start the describe image, and then we will start with the read alouds. So 5 minutes for describe image. Anybody? Anji? Describe. Oh, you have first aid. I will explain. So how many of the describe image we usually get in exam? 6 to 7, sometimes 8. So in between 6 to. And for the read aloud, how many? It also 7, 8 or 9 sometimes, depends. Okay. Yeah. So for every describe image, you will have 25 seconds for preparation and 40 seconds for response. But you have to speak only 25 seconds for describe image. For the read aloud, for every read aloud, for every paragraph, you will have 40 seconds almost for preparation and then 40 seconds for response time. Okay. So we will start with the describe image. You will have 2-3 minutes to just prepare for the describe image. Yeah, you can speak same content in all describe image. Okay. Who want to perform first? Okay. So you want to perform second one? Okay. Just. So I forgot your name. Sorry.
Rahad.
Rahad. So Rahad is going to perform the second describe image. Those who are new can see how he's performing. So, okay, start.
I have a beautiful image in front of me. First of all, I'll talk about this image only 25 seconds. By having a closer look of this image, I can see there are several trends are emerging. By looking more closely, I can see this image is about average time spent on sport and outdoor activity by living situation 2006. I can see a line graph here. I can see colors. I can see minutes per day. I can see 15. I can see 25. I can see per parent and dependent child. As my time is finishing, I'll press next and I'll
Yeah,
press
it's
yes. Thank
already
you.
29 seconds. So how did you perform? Is he described or is he explain the image or any data? No. You need to do only, you only need to speak for 25 seconds in English. Even he used some words from the graph, but you don't need to. If you don't have anything to say from the graph, you can just fix those lines that we have given to you and just speak for 25 seconds. Okay. Any other want to perform? Yeah. You can speak about colors, you can speak about the numbers, you can speak about the words given in the picture. That's it. You don't need to explain anything from the picture. Okay. So Simran, yeah, just 1 minute. Yeah.
I have got a beautiful picture front of me. I have to speak about 25 seconds. Let's have a closer look on this picture. By looking closely, I can see that there are several trends are emerging. I can see the title, but there is no any title. There has been a popular debate about this phenomenon, whether it is true or there is no proof or evidence to support its existence. So, what we can see in the end is that the trend is the popular one among different categories, no matter what the situation is.
Done.
I can
Yeah. How did he perform? It was okay. It was not fluent because it takes so many pause. So as per our new strategy, you have to speak little bit fast than before. Okay. So he took some pauses, like he said, the heading of the picture says that you don't need to take a pause. You have to speak fluently. Otherwise, it will reduce your marks in fluency. So if you get fluency 90 scores, so you will definitely get more than 80. So try to work on fluency. Okay. So don't take any pause. Don't stop. Just practice so that you don't need to take any like any. He took the breath. Yeah, long breath. He took 2-3 times long breath. That's not acceptable. If you take the breath, it will your fluency. So anyone else who want to perform? What's your name? I forgot your name. You have to perform. Yeah. Thank you. You have to perform the first one. Yeah, first one.
In fact, I got a very beautiful picture. Let me have a closer look at this picture. By looking closely, I can see several trends are emerging from this picture. I need to speak for 25 seconds, so I would like to speak about this picture. In this trend, I can see the plantation of the paper and radiation pine thinnings. Cheaper. I think my time is up. I need to press 20 next button now. I think my time is not up. I need to speak another 25 seconds. So
No, it is not 25. It's only 22 seconds. What happened today? Bit nervous. So many students. He takes so many pauses. Yeah. He stopped at one. You don't need just fix the lines in your mind, and there when you perform, you don't need to think like you just fix lines in your mind. Okay. Just speak fluently, and then in 25 seconds. Anyone else? Do you have first? Is it your first day today? No. And yeah, you perform. Yeah. I know you performing very well. You will do the second one. Okay. Yeah. Start.
I have got a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look at the image. By looking closely, I can see several trends are emerging. Let me read the heading first. Heading is mentioned that average time spent on sport and outdoor activity. I can see different colors and numbers in the image like red, blue, and green. I have to keep on talking about this image for 25 seconds. I think my time is about to finish, but my time is not yet finished. I have to keep on talking about this image for 25 seconds. I can see different words like non dependent child, and as well
Your
as more.
time is up. That's it was good in the first part, but after that, yeah, she thought her time is up, so that's why she just lost her concentration. So then we're moving to the second part, that is read aloud. Okay, so you can write the fixed lines if you want to write. There is a beautiful picture in front of me. There is a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look. By looking closely at the picture, okay. There is a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look. By looking closely at the picture, I can see several trends are emerging. Let me have a closer look at a picture. By looking closely at the picture, I can see by looking closely at the picture, I can see there are several trends are emerging. Are emerging. If you don't want to, you can say it's up to you. I can. If you can, if you want to say, you can. You can say. Uh, by looking closely at the picture, what we are there is a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look at a picture. By looking closely at the picture, I can see several trends are emerging. Some people use there are several trends, but I'm using by looking closely at the picture. I can see several trends are emerging. I can see the heading of the picture says this. I can see the heading of the picture. If you want to say about the heading, you can say. Otherwise, you can say, I can see the heading of the picture says nothing. But I have to speak about this image for 25 seconds. I can see so many numbers given in the picture like 10, 15, and 30. I can also see some words given in the picture like plant or anything that the word you want to say. I can also see there's, or you can say there are so many color in this picture like red, blue, and black. Black is my favorite color. I have to keep on speaking on this image for 25 seconds. When it's come to end, you can say, I think my time is up and I'm going to press next button. Thank you very much. And while speaking these lines, you can just press the next button and yes button. All good? So we'll quickly start the read aloud. So you will have 5 minutes to go through all the read alouds, and then we will start the read alouds. So from the read aloud, you will get marks to. From the read aloud, you will get marks to reading and speaking. And for the describe image, you only get marks for speaking. So that's why you can speak anything in English for describe image. But for the read aloud, as your marks goes to reading as well, so you have to speak only the words that is given in the paragraph. No marks for listening. You don't listen anything in read aloud. You just read whatever is written there. So read aloud only reading and speaking. From repeat sentences and answer short question or retell, marks goes to listening. Okay. So for read aloud, reading, I think how many? It's not fixed, but you get the 25 marks in reading from this read aloud, and the same marks goes to speaking as well. So read aloud is very important if you want to improve your marks in reading. So you have to read all the words as it is. You don't need to add any, and no addition, no subtraction. Okay. Speaking. Okay. Okay, you don't know. We will discuss this one after this. Okay. Just do the read aloud, and then we will start. So these lines you will do the first 5, and this one, no, first 4, second 4, and the rest of it. Okay. So you will do the first 4, you will do the second 4, and these lines do the last 4. As these days we are doing the special material, so you have to go through all the read alouds. You will get something you may get something from these questions in your actual test. So you have to practice all the words, difficult words that is given in these special classes. Okay, read aloud, describe image, and everything. Okay, come to you.
So on the describe image,
How many?
yeah, how many score for speaking?
It
Describe image.
come 30 scores almost. 30 marks. almost 30 marks. Okay. Describe image, you will get 30 marks to almost 30 marks to speaking. Okay, can I start with the read aloud from this line? Can you just perform it? The first one? Okay, in read aloud, as per the new strategy, you have to speak little bit fast than the before, and you're not supposed to take pause on every full stop or on every comma. Okay, whenever you need to take the breath, then you take the breath, otherwise speak fluently. Okay, no pause, nothing. So, okay, can you start the first one, please?
Surprisingly, despite what appear to be infinite variation, all difficult conversations share a common structure. When you are caught up in the details and anxiety of a particular difficult conversation, this structure is hard to see. But understanding that structure is essential to improving how you handle your most challenging conversations.
Conversations. If there is a
I was
s at the end, then you have to speak
I was
as. Okay, and in this you have take the pause here. Infinite variations. After that, you took the pause. Okay, otherwise it was good. Okay, and can you perform the second one, please?
A young man from a small provincial town, or a man without independent wealth, without powerful family connections, and without a family. Sorry.
You can start again. And can you speak a little bit loud?
A young man from a small provincial town, or a man without independent wealth, without powerful family connections, and without a university education, moved to London in the late 1580s and in a remarkably short time became the greatest playwright not of his age alone but of all time. How did Shakespeare become Shakespeare?
How was this? It was okay. Okay. Is it is your first attempt? No. Your words were not clear. Okay. Just make clarity in your words when you're speaking, and your pitch was very low. You have to speak a little bit loud. Okay, and make it a little bit fluent as well. Okay, and from this row, can you perform the third one? Okay.
Beauty contestants, whether it is Miss Universe or Miss Teen,
Yeah.
beauty contestants, whether it is Miss Universe or Miss Teen International, are demeaning to women and out of sync with the times. Opponents say that they are nothing more than symbols to decline. Since Australians Jennifer Hawkins and Lauren Eagle were crowned Miss Universe and Miss Teen International respectively, there has been a dramatic increase in interest in beauty pageants in this country.
Beauty pregnants in this country, or you are not fluent. You have to practice a lot. Okay, you are not fluent. And from this row, can I ask you to do the second last? Yeah. Can you start?
Many papers you write in college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources, even if you don't have to do it. Integrating a few quotes into your writing can add life and persuasiveness to your arguments. The key is to use quotes to support a point you are trying to make rather than just include them to fill space.
It was very good, but at the end, you struggle. You make the words like different. And it was very good, fluent, and he used the pataka rule. Yeah, he tried to use, but at the end, he just take a little bit pause. It was okay. Okay. Can you perform this last one?
Researchers gathered 160 uncaffeinated adults, people who consume less than 500 milligrams of caffeine a week. These decaf subjects looked at pictures of various objects, then then took either a placebo or a pill containing 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's roughly the amount you'd get from 2 cups of coffee.
It was okay, not fluent. You did so many pauses. Didn't you haven't practiced before? At the preparation time, how do you practice? You have to read aloud at the time of exam as well. Exam, you have to read aloud as you are doing the actual performance. Okay, in the preparation time, you have to read aloud. And can you do the first one from the second page?
The device revealed that the crack grew almost a centimeter wide during the warmest part of the day. It shrunk again when temperature cooled off, for instance, at night and
Just
during
one
the
minute.
winter.
You're very fast. I can't. I can't understand what you're saying. You have to be fluent, but not that fast that I can't. No one can. Computer can understand. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can you start again?
The device revealed that the crack grew almost a
You again very
centimeter.
fast. Now, can you just try again?
The devices revealed that the crack grew almost a centimeter wider during the warmest part of the day. It shrunk again when temperature cooled off, for instance, at night.
How do you speak normally? Like that? You won't get any marks in speaking. Okay, you have to slow down, and you have to create. You have to be clear about the words because I can't say how you saying device.
The device,
The devices revealed. Hmm? Can you try? Yeah.
the devices revealed that the crack grew almost a centimeter wider during the warmest part of the day. It shrunk again when temperatures cooled off, for instance, at night and during the winter. But overall, the scientists found that the average width of the fracture grew over the course of a summer and over the entire 3.5 year study period, bringing the crack closer to breaking.
It was it was okay, but you have to work on pronunciation. Okay. Okay. Can you perform the second last? Are you okay? Second last. Okay. This one. Aesthetics. Aesthetics.
There are perhaps three ways of looking at furniture. Some people see it as pure functional and useful and don't bother themselves with aesthetics. Others see it as essential to civilized living and concern themselves with the design and how the furniture will look in a room. In other words, function combined with aesthetics, and yet others see furniture as form of art.
You have to work on pronunciation, and you're taking pauses at every comma. You have to work on that. Okay. Can you just perform the which one you prepared with? Last one. Okay. You didn't prepare. Okay, just go.
Unions take power out of the employer's hands on many issues. There are examples of cases where workers were engaging in sexual and racial harassment but were protected by their unions and allowed to keep their jobs. Poor workers and excellent workers often receive the same pay and raise, giving no reason for a person to work harder than necessary at their job.
So fluency was good, pronunciation was good, but she fumbled twice. Okay, just work on that. Okay, thank you guys.
Okay, guys, we can come back to speaking once we finish this session. If you have time, we can practice more on speaking. For now, please jump to the next question, which is reading. Question number 3. I'll give you 10 minutes. Please take your time, solve them as much as you can, and then we'll discuss them. Okay. Okay, guys, let's start discussing now. So the question is reading and writing, fill in the blanks. We get two types of blanks, I think, as most of you may know by now. We get drag and drop as well as drop down, and the ones which you have got today are drop down blanks. For each blank, we'll be getting 4 options. So there'll be a drop down button. When you click on that button, 4 or could be 5 sometimes. But generally, there are 4 options, out of which you'll have to select the correct one option. Okay, very easy. Answer is there, but आपको ढूंढना है obviously. Okay. So what we try to do is we'll read the passage, try to understand the context, and then we'll try to fit in the options. And understanding the context is very important, guys. अगर आपको पढ़ने के बाद you are not getting most of it, still it's okay. It's not important that you have to understand the meaning of each and every word from that passage. But understanding the context, the overall idea is important. Okay. So let's try the first one. There were 26 freshmen dash in English. पता नहीं सुना है freshmen. When I try to read freshman, fisherman निकल. Okay, there were 26 freshmen dash in English at Beijing Language Institute in the class of 1983. I was dashed to group 2 with another 11 boys and girls who had dashed big cities in China. I was told that language study required smallness. Okay, smallness so that we would get more attention from the skillful teachers. The better the school, the smaller the class. I realized that my classmates were already all dash in English, simple sentences tossed out to each other in their red-faced introductions and carefree chatting. Their intonations were curving and dramatic, and their pronunciation refined and accurate. But as I stretched to catch the drips and drops of their humming dialogue, I couldn't dash it all, only that it was English. Those words now flying before me sounded a little familiar. I had read them and tried to speak them, but I'd never dashed them spoken back to me in such a speedy, fluent manner. My big plan of dash the city folks was thawing before my eyes. Okay. The first one, there were 26 freshmen dash in English. How many have chosen majoring? Okay. Learning in English. Studying in English. Okay. Speaking in English. Just speaking वाले भी है. मतलब हर option का कोई there's somebody for each option. Good. Okay. Manali, why studying in English? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Those who are confidently saying majoring, how many of you have chosen Harman? Harman, why majoring? Okay, तो study का मतलब भी पढ़ना ही ਹੁੰਦਾ. Okay, one could be this. ठीक है. Okay. 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 Okay, that could be one thing. You are doing a major course, so that's why it's better to say majoring in English. But there's another reason, guys. Once we have read this passage, it's very clear that they are studying English language, right? They are studying English language. But when we say studying in English language, it doesn't mean they are studying the language itself. It means they are studying some other subject, but in English. Are you getting my point? It means might be they are studying maths or science or anything, but in English. When we say studying in English language, if it would have been studying English language, we could have thought of this option. Still, majoring was a better option other than studying, but still, in this case, if it would have been studying, not studying in. Are you getting the difference between studying English and studying in English? Studying English means you're studying the English language itself. But studying in English means you're studying some other subject, but in English. But over here, since it is a language institute, obviously you are learning that language itself. You're not learning in English or studying in English. So that's why the best option over here is majoring in English. Okay. So there were 26 freshmen majoring in English at Beijing Language Institute in the class of 1983. I was dashed to group. I think this was the easiest one. Sorry, assigned. Yeah, the answer is assigned because none of the other option make slightest sense. So given to group 2, nominated to group 2, fallen to group 2. No, it has to be assigned to. Means I was part of that group. So I was assigned to group 2 with another 11 boys and girls who had dashed big cities in China. Why not came from? Why not came from? Verb third form of the verb, not V2. It's had. With had, we always use third form of the verb. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so it is come, came, come. It's not come, came, come, come only. So it has to be had, come from. Why not belong from? Guys, thank you. Yeah, good. So it is always belong to, never belong from. Okay, I belong to some place. Maybe I belong to India, not I belong from India. Okay, so it is always belong to. Okay, but come from. Okay, I realized that my classmates were already all dash in English. Fighting in English, learning in English, writing in English, or talking in English. What's your name? Sorry, what's your good name? How do you spell it? Say C-O-A-I-L-C. Colin? Colin. Okay, Colin. Okay, yes, Colin. Which option did you pick for this D blank? Sorry. Why talking? Why did you pick talking? Okay, but we can use the language to fight as well. Verbal fighting could be in English. We can use the language to write as well. We can use the language to learn as well. Don't use the phone. Pushpinder, please. Yeah. Pushpinder, why talking? Did you pick talking? Why? Because they are? Exactly. That's it. और कुछ कहने की लोड़ ही नहीं. When we read that, this is the reason we ask you to read that passage. Okay, that's why it is important. When we read this sentence, guys, it's very clear. I realized that my classmates were already all dash in English. Simple sentences tossed out to each other in their red-faced introductions and carefree chatting. So it has to be talking. Okay, so they were all talking in English. Okay, the next one. But as I stretched to catch the drips and drops of their humming dialogue, I couldn't dash it all. Only that it was English. Understand. The answer is understand. Why not realize, feel, or gauge? What do you mean by gauge? Gauge means increase? No. Measure. Gauge means to measure or to judge something. That is gauge. And if you have studied Sir's essays, gauge is the word which is very commonly used in that essay written formal examination to gauge a student's performance, to judge or to measure a student's performance. Okay. Now, how can, if he is a beginner, how can he judge somebody else's performance? So he was just trying to understand the person, the writer of this passage. So I couldn't understand whatever they were saying. It was just I could get this part that they were speaking something in English. The same thing, the same feeling which we have when we come to Australia, maybe as a beginner. When we join the classes, we are not able to get most of the things. But it's समझ लग रहा है they're saying something in English, but we are not able to get most of it. Especially if you have very bad listening skills. ये नहीं कि सानू English नहीं आउंदी हुंदी, but we are not used to their accent. How can you realize it at all? Can you realize a language? You can realize that you were not able to understand it, but you cannot realize the language. Realize उसके बाद क्या है? It. Realize it. क्या? I cannot realize that I was able to understand. क्या realize आप किसी feeling को कर सकते हो, not a language. Okay. Okay. I had read them and tried to speak them, but I had never dashed them. How? Yeah, exactly. But I had never heard them spoken. I had read them, मैंने उन words को कहीं पे पढ़ा था. I had read them earlier. I tried to speak them, but I had never heard them spoken back to me in such a speedy, fluent manner. Okay, so I had never heard them. My big plan of dash the city folks was thawing before my eyes. Leaving? Beating, मतलब पटापा जाना? Yeah. What did I say? Yeah, it's like a thappad. So beating here means to leave them behind. Okay, किसी को पीछे हाँ. Too many Punjabi friends, that's good. So beating the city folks was thawing before my eyes. Guys, before we move on, as I think everybody of you knows that whatever we have been studying since past few days and whatever we'll be doing for the next few days, till I guess 11th or 12th of September, that is something really special. This reading material, please go through it as many times as possible and write all the blanks 10 times. Not just read them, but write them 10 times. और क्या लिखोगे? Will you just write majoring 10 times, assign 10 times? No. Write them in their context. For example, 26 freshmen majoring in English. 26 freshmen majoring in English. So write it 10 times. Write them 10 times. Apart from that, thoda school time yaad karo. Okay. Apart from that, not only these blanks, but please study the whole passage thoroughly. Okay. For example, if some of the blanks are not exactly the same blanks, but some other words. For example, the last sentence, if it would have been, my big plan of beating the city folks was dash before my eyes. Okay, if they give you the options throwing plus 3 other options, it should be that much clear in your mind that the answer has to be throwing only. Throwing means maybe fading away or shattered. Okay. Okay. Samajh lagi? This is the only thing which I can say at the moment. Abhi samajh jao bas and study them. Okay. Let's move on. The next one. The ocean floor is home to many unique communities of plants and animals. Most of these marine ecosystems are near the water surface, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000-kilometer long coral dash off the northeastern coast of Australia. Coral reefs, like nearly all complex living communities, depend on solar energy for growth. The sun's energy, however, penetrates at most only about 300 meters below the surface of the water. The relatively shallow penetration of solar energy and the sinking of cold subpolar water combine to make most of the deep ocean floor a dash environment with few life forms. In 1977, scientists discovered hot springs at a depth of 2.5 kilometers on the Galapagos Rift off the coast of Ecuador. This exciting discovery was not really a dash. Since the early 1970s, scientists had predicted that hot springs should be found the active spreading centers along the mid-oceanic ridge, where magma at temperatures over 1000 Celsius presumably was being erupted to form new oceanic crust. क्या समझ आ रहा है? पढ़ो ना उधर. More exciting, because it was totally dash, was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life, giant tube worms, huge clams, and mussels or mussels. Some people say it as mussels, some say it as mussels. Chalo koi baat nahi. That dash around the hot springs. Okay. The first one, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000-kilometer long coral dash running off, formation, construction. Let's go one by one. Who picked construction? Colin? Anybody else who picked construction? Sunny. Dishant. Okay. Construction? Okay. Anybody else? Any other smart student who picked construction? Okay. Formation. What about formation? Okay. Running. Naval apa ki pick kita? Kuch bhi nahi. हाँ बस to be on the safe side, हाथ थले रखो आप एक सही पता लग ही जाना. Guys, can you construct a natural feature? They are talking about Great Barrier Reef. ਉਹਨੂੰ ਬਹਿ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਮਿਸਤਰੀ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ Barrier Reef ਨੂੰ? No. It's formed because of natural phenomena. So natural features are always formed. They are formation. They cannot be constructed. ਕਿੰਨੀ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰ ਨੂੰ? Okay, so you can construct the buildings, you can construct the bridges, or anything, any man-made features, but you cannot construct these natural features. Okay, they are formed because of the natural phenomena. So it has to be formation. Let's read the sentence again. Most of these marine ecosystems are near the water surface, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000-kilometer long coral formation of, यहाँ पे off का मतलब क्या? Besides, along. That is, so running off, it is not a water body which is running along something. It has to be formation. Okay, formation of the northeastern coast of Australia. Okay. The next one, the relatively shallow penetration of solar energy and the sinking of cold subpolar water combine to make most of the deep ocean floor a dash environment with few life forms. How many of you picked congenial? What's the meaning of congenial, Rahat? Natural? क्या मतलब है फिर? Early marriage में कितनी बार? That's why it's important to read sirs ऐसे. Congenial relationship. Early marriage में healthy, favorable, positive. So if it is a positive environment, very favorable environment, will it have only few life forms? Okay, so it cannot be a positive word at all. Rigid. Can an environment be rigid? Stubborn? जिद करके बैठ जाऊंगा कि नहीं मैं तो इतने होने नहीं देना किसी ने कुछ मर्जी कर लो. The answer is frigid, which means frozen. So as they are saying that the sunlight is not able to penetrate more than 300 meters below the surface of that sea or ocean. So that's why it becomes difficult for life forms to survive over there, for sea life to survive over there, because the conditions over there are frigid or frozen. Hanji, Pushpinder. Rigid is stubborn. Stubborn, stuck. Rigid structure. It can be hard as well. Rigid structure or a rigid person, rigid body. So depends upon the context. But rigid environment, it cannot be. Okay. Sorry? Stubborn का मतलब teeth, like Daniel. Rigid means somebody who's too tough to deal with. Tough, and then rigid is tough as well. Okay, next one. See. This exciting discovery was not really a dash. Surprise. Anybody who picked any other option like failure, success, let them speak. Ki naam si? Jagpreet. Jagpreet, what did you choose? Success. Okay. Randeep. Success. Okay. Japneet. Apneet, what did you pick? Surprise. Why surprise? Exactly, guys. In the next sentence, they are saying that scientists had already predicted this in the early 1970s or something. Yeah, in the early 1970s. So if something is already predicted, can it be a surprise? No. Then already some you with a guest, yeah, or maybe your friends, ki haan, we are coming at your place in the evening or something, and aage can surprise. So will you be surprised? No, because you already knew that somebody is coming. Okay, so if this discovery was already predicted by the scientists, so it cannot be a surprise. Okay, so the answer is surprise. This exciting discovery was not really a surprise. Why? Since the early 90s. Since का मतलब यहाँ पे it is serving the purpose of because. Okay, because the early 1970s, scientists had predicted that hot springs should be found the active spreading centers. Okay, more exciting, now they're talking about another discovery. More exciting, because it was totally dash, was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life. Unexpected, any other option other than unexpected? Expected? Expected? Okay. Guys, otherwise, a simple way of writing this sentence would have been something like this. More exciting was the discovery of abundant unusual sea life, giant tube worms, huge clams, and mussels that dash around the hot springs, because it was totally dash. This is how this sentence actually means. Just to confuse you guys, or writer he has written it like this, just to confuse you. Now, discovery of abundant and unusual sea life. Will it be expected? How can it be expected? Now, in this context, it either can be unwanted or unexpected. Now, unwanted we use when maybe the expression which we want to convey is negative. For example, unwanted guests. Matlab, bin bulai, obviously we are sad about it, that somebody has come. But when we say unexpected, it can be either positive or negative, both. If we like that person, we'll be obviously happy. But if we don't like that person, we'll be sad. Now over here, when they are saying discovery of abundant means huge variety of, okay, large number of, and unusual sea life. This discovery was made. Can it be unwanted? Obviously, if you suddenly find something new. How many of you watched that movie, The Treasure Island? The Rock Valley. Okay, they discover a secret island. Okay, so obviously, when you discover something new, obviously it will be unexpected. You'll be surprised. You'll be happy about it. Why would you be sad? So it has to be unexpected. Okay, unexpected discovery of was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life, giant tube worms, this that dash around the hot springs. Now please don't tell me that anybody has chosen died. Died तो नहीं किसी ने pick किया था? Yeah, why would so died? Obviously it is extremely totally opposite to what they are trying to say. Not excelled. Either excelled or thrived. Who picked excelled? Okay. And who all picked thrived? बाकी ने क्या pick किया है? नहीं कोई डेवलप्ड वाले भी होंगे, आई एम श्योर, जिन्होंने बह के ना डेवलप की होनी है लाइफ फॉर्म्स. Guys, excelled or thrived, both kind of mean the same thing. Excel means to grow in something, and thrive means to grow, to get nourishment in something as well. But excel we cannot use for example, excel in health. Okay, you can excel in your career, you can excel in your business, in your studies, but you cannot excel in your health. I cannot say, oh, I think my brother is excelling in his health. Okay, he is thriving. Thrive can be used for both contexts, for scientific, for biological phenomena, for example, to talk about some life forms, for about your health, as well as about other things like thriving career, thriving business, thriving all. But excel cannot be used for biological things. Okay, so in this case, it has to be thrive only. Let's read the sentence again. More exciting, because it was totally unexpected, was the discovery of, so that's why if something agar expected hota, तो why would it be exciting? So exciting tha, तो it has to be unexpected or unwanted. It was totally unexpected, was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life, dash, 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 that thrived around the hot springs. Okay, so that was growing, that was nourished. Sorry? Developed, again, developed means when something is manually done. It cannot be developed. The life forms cannot be developed. They can thrive. It means they are getting natural nourishment, because the conditions available in that area, they are favoring them to grow. So that's why they are thriving. They cannot be developed. Okay. Okay, the last one. Plants and animals are a Montreal-based. How many of you found this one very interesting? This samajh aaoge to interesting. This was quite hard one, the last one. Plants and Animals are a Montreal-based indie rock trio that began playing together as kids, touring arduously for about 5 years. About their proper full-length debut in 2008, they pretty much made their records on the go until 2013. So the band's decision to be slow, deliberate, and thorough on their latest offering, Waltzed In From the Rumbling, represents a major change of pace. Finally, sleeping in their own beds while recording, the band assembled the album over the course of 9 seasons. It's a return to their origins, but it also pushes forward. The aesthetic varies widely and wonderfully from track to track, each song having its own dash, but somehow still melding cohesively as a body of work. Jangling guitars, drums leaning toward the off-kilter swing of J. Dilla found sounds, a hit shoegaze, and unorthodox instrumentation come together to keep the ear constantly engaged with a feeling of constant evolution. So they are trying to explain what kind of music they found. They found an antique Quiro next to a broken VCR and recorded both. They made an empty fridge sound like a timpani drum. They recorded gossip on a city bus. They brought in classical string flourishes. They sometimes left mistakes if they felt they were perfectly imperfect. It's truly DIY, but with a feel of big production value that makes the album soar. What do we mean by this word soar, the last word of this passage? Khatta? Which is that word? That is S-O-U-R. And how do we pronounce that word S-O-U-R? Sour. Okay, sour. Shower na kar do, please. That is sour. And what do we mean by this word S-O-A-R? Painful? Exactly. Soaring concern means rising or increasing. So soar means to rise or to increase. Soar ki? Soar, kedi, sorry? That is S-O-R-E, I guess, which you're talking about. Okay? Okay, chalo, let's move on. Contemplative lyrics anchor the album through all their exploratory dash. The words are delivered melodically, belaying their potency, but listening beyond the pretty aesthetic reveals piercing observations and an undeniable translation of feeling. The simplicity of the penetrating refrain on the 3-part mini dash is a paragon of how the lyrics effortlessly cut through the instrumentation. Guitarist, vocalist Warren Spicer sings "It's only love, but you want it bad," encompassing how we try to avoid and downplay our desire for love and affection, but ultimately search and long for it anyway. Hanji? Okay. The first one, it's a return to their origins, but it also pushes dash forward. Effectively. क्या है ये word सभी? Audaciously. Audaciously. क्यों? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Audacious means bold. Audaciously means boldly, fearlessly. When you do something which is unconventional, which is against the norms of that society. Over here, when we read this passage, when they said, so the band's decision to be slow, deliberate, and thorough on their latest offering, it means they were against the traditional things, against the conventional things, which were maybe all others were, maybe they wanted to go on for that one after the other, Miss Puja types, ek to baad ek album kar di jao. But they tried to do something else, which was slowly and steadily. So that's why they're saying, so it was their decision, which was obviously a bold decision. So the band's decision to be slow, deliberate, and thorough on the latest offering represents a major change of pace. So this was a bold step which was taken by them. So according to the context, it has to be audaciously. Effectively could have been correct if audaciously was not there. Baki dono cowardly and arrogantly doesn't even match the context. Okay, so because of the context, audaciously is a better fitting word. All right. Hanji? It's a return to their origins, but it also that activity जो वो कर रहे हैं उनका जो म्यूजिक प्रोडक्शन की जो एक्टिविटी है, how they produce music, how they develop music, compose कैसे करते हैं, that activity. Okay. The aesthetic varies widely and wonderfully from track to track, each song having its own dash. What do you mean by lithic? Lyrics? Guys, the answer over here is hermetic. It's a collocation, usually we say hermetic seal. Hermetic seal क्या होता है? Something which is very closely packed. In this context, you can understand it by, for example, if you have got एक album में there are 5 songs, okay, but all of them are different. For example, one is sad, other one is melodious, some romantic, something like that, okay. Although all of them are different, altogether different from one another, but still there would be some similarities. For example, let's say one similarity could be they are sung by the same singer. Maybe their music is similar, given by the same person. So although the same thing they are trying to say over here, all the activities which they were undertaking were different. Each of their piece of work was altogether different from one another, but still there was something in there which was bonding them together. Maybe the way they produced music, maybe let's say the tradition, their thinking, their way of producing music, that was something similar. So it's a collocation basically. So it has to be hermetic. Hanji Pushpinder. Aesthetic, pleasant to eyes, something which is beautiful. That is aesthetic. So aesthetic beauty of this place means something which looks beautiful to your eyes. That is aesthetic. So the answer is hermetic, the first one. Hermetic. Simple word, hermetic. Otherwise, hermetic in literal sense means something which is very tightly or closely packed. Or other meaning which I studied was hermetic could be something which is deeply rooted with your traditions, embedded in culture. That could be hermetic as well. Okay. Okay. The next one now. Contemplative lyrics anchor the album through all the exploratory dash. The answer is, guys, wandering. Okay, the second option. You can remember it from this, that explorers, they keep on wandering. Wander means to move from one place, to roam around from one place to another. And explorers, they keep on moving from one place to another in search of something, some good thing. Okay, maybe some peaceful area. No, it has to be exploratory wanderings. Discovering. Contemplative lyrics anchor the album through all the exploratory discovering. No. Okay. Discovering, or basically discovery is, you can say, discovery noun, but discovering again can be a gerund. But here discovering is not you guys over here, exploratory is adjective. Okay. Wanderings is noun. So the answer is wandering. Next one, the simplicity of the penetrating refrain on the 3-part mini dash. Chorus. Opus. Guys, the answer is opus, the second option. Both chorus and opus have similar meanings. Not similar, I would say the same meaning. But because the writer chose to write opus, iska matlab kya, chorus and opus means music composition only. Okay, that chorus, wo jo bar bar hum repeat karte na, chorus lines hoti hain jo. So that is chorus. And opus means the same. But over here, the answer is opus just because the writer chose to write opus. Yeah, so that's why the answer is opus and not chorus. Now, sir purposefully put this option. Obviously, in the exam, they won't give you 2 options which mean exactly the same, which will fit in that context. But over here, sir purposefully gave you this option ki agar exam mein, for example, if you get these 2 options, the answer is opus, not chorus. Okay, so the answer for this one is opus. And please, again, I'll repeat the same thing. Write them 10 times. Each answer, I mean, within that context. Sirf don't write that individual word, opus, 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 opus. What to do with opus? So write it in this context. For example, 3-part mini opus, and study the rest of the passage as well thoroughly, so that you are well acquainted with all the words. If you find any unfamiliar words, please go through them, so that you don't struggle with them in the exam. Okay. We have got 10 minutes. We can practice some speaking. If anybody wishes to do so, you can keep sitting. Otherwise, nahi baitho chupchap. Let's practice read aloud, guys. How many of you have your exam coming shortly? Tomorrow? Okay. नहीं, next अभी start नहीं हुआ, 10 मिनट. Shweta? No. Namita. Namita, please do the third one. Who all got chance earlier? किनको chance मिल गया था already? Okay. उनका तो chance नहीं है अभी. Obviously, the others will get chance. Rahat, please do the seventh one. Who else is willing? Okay, Manali. Fourth one. Suk. No, it's Neetu. Neetu, first one. Okay. Simran, sixth. It's the next baby. Oh, thank you. Chalo, Harsimran, sixth. Let these people try. Anybody else who is wishing, who wishes to speak? No? Good. Chalo. Start, Namita, please. It was good. Namita, last time कितने speaking में आपके? Mock. You are good. The only thing which I am worried little about is your speed. थोड़ी सी आप ज़्यादा फास्ट थे, लेकिन अगर आपके रियल एग्जाम में इससे स्पीड कम करने में, if you are not getting your desired score, then you speak at this pace. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. The only issue which you might face is voice, obviously, which every girl faces. Mock ka, lekin the software, please don't expect the same results which you get in your mock. The software of your mock test is altogether different from the real test. Anji? No, depends. It could be hard. Reading for the mock test is quite hard as compared to the real test. But the speaking scores, please don't judge. It can be obvious. It can be on the higher side. It can be on the lower side as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. But for girls, it is not, I would say, every time, but mostly for girls, it is the other way around. Girls के mock test में they are getting very good scores, 90, 80s, 70s, but in the real test, there are software issues. Yeah. No. Hope, fingers crossed, nothing. So it doesn't happen with you, of course. Let's hope. Sabi, what are you doing? Achha, who was the other one? Yes, Rahat, quickly.
Researchers gathered 160 uncaffeinated adult people who consume less than 500 milligrams of caffeine every. These decaf subjects looked at pictures of various objects that look bigger and replaceable or pill containing 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's roughly the amount you would get from 2 cups of coffee.
That's roughly. It was better than the last time you earlier. I think the last time you were breaking down the words when we did speaking, or what? You weren't there.
I'm the only person who's breaking down.
Acha. Nee, there are many other people as well, Harsimran. So it was good this time. You can increase your pace a little bit more. Rahat. It was good, no doubt about that. How much did you get in speaking the last time? 87. So if guys, I'll repeat the same thing. If you are somebody who's getting your desired score in speaking, be it 6, 7 or 8, then you keep on doing the same thing as you were doing earlier. But if you're not getting your desired score in speaking, then you try to speak a little bit fast. Okay? मैंने नहीं देखा मैं कुछ भी. Yes, Manali, go on. Yep, good. It was nice, Manali, no doubt. I know, don't make such faces, I know. But you also know what you need to do. You'll have to play with your voice. Sorry. Okay, anybody left? Harsimran, Hanji.
Many papers you write in a college will require you to include quotes from one or more sources, even if you don't have to do it. Integrating a few quotes into the writing can add life and to your arguments. The key is to use quotes
points you are trying to more, then must then just include them to fill space.
Simran, fast करो. Okay, it was way too slow. ਆ ਪੂਰਾ ਫਾਸਟ ਸੀ. ਫਿਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਪੀਡ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਪੀਡ ਲਿਮਿਟ ਆ ਨਾ ਉੱਤੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਰੇਂਜ ਵਧਾਓ. ਓਕੇ ਸੋ ਇਟ ਵਾਸ ਲਿਟਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਲੋ ਸੀ. ਹਾਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਫਾਸਟ ਕਰੋ. ਪਲੱਸ ਇੰਨੀ ਸਲੋ ਪੜਨ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਯੂ ਵਰ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਮਿਸਟੇਕਸ. ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਚਲੋ good luck. Okay guys, thank you very much. कोई राय तो नहीं है? Oh sorry हाँ जी पढ़ो. नहीं तो कोई गल नहीं मैं सुन रही हूँ. let them go.
When you are caught up in the details and anxiety of a particular difficult conversation, this structure is hard to see, but understanding that structure is essential to improve how you handle your most challenging conversations.
Fluency ठीक है नीतू but pronunciation सस्ता शस्ता भी mix करी ਜਾਂਦੇ sounds ਤੁਸੀਂ. Variation and the word is infinite. हाँ जी same. Oh guys, sorry. Let me read some of the names. Ashish आधे तो चले गए होने. आशीष हाँ कौन है? मनाली. जसप्रीत गया. पुष्पिंदर. Guys, see reception before you leave. Hussain, are you the one? नहीं पुष्पिंदर तो हो गया. Who is Hussain? 725. Last three digits with 725. Anyways, Randeep, Melina, Harmanpreet, Ankush. सारी पिंक की पई है. Raj, Akshay, Sridhar, Avanath. कौन है? पता नहीं. Umair, please guys see reception. सारी पिंक हुई पई है. फीस भरो जाके. Okay. इतने में इतना ही होगा. Guys, come to the Facebook page, please. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੋਨੋਂ please ਇੱਧਰ ਆ ਜਾਓ. Thank you. Saurabh, you too. Please get up and if you can please come here. Okay. Okay, let's so please hope everybody is there on the Facebook page. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਾਮ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਅਮਨਿੰਦਰ. Okay. ਇੰਦਰ ਇੰਨੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ. Okay, please come to the Facebook page. I'll start with the latest posts. Day 7 of 17. So what we are going to do tomorrow, that has been posted. Inshallah, in all sessions tomorrow, we are going to do both listening and writing. Okay, I'll take that to High Court. Maybe, yeah, I got your point. So it should be day 6. Yeah. Please comment on the post. Okay. Okay. मैं क्या पता नहीं क्यों हो गया जो है ना साढ़ा हाथ कैसे रख. Okay. Inshallah, I'll take the 2 morning sessions in Footscray tomorrow, 9 to 10:30 and 10:30 to 12, which will be broadcast live to other branches. So I'll be taking the morning 2 sessions tomorrow. सजा मिली है? बैठ जाओ. Sorry. Okay, the next one, guys. Another successful Ahmadiyyan is Anuj, and he has scored 65, 70, 81, and 67 in his test. The next one is Sunny. Please read the next one. Yeah, next one, please. Okay, thank you, Sunny. Gurminder, please. Next one. ਕੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਦਵਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਦੱਸੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ. 1932 ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. हाँ वो तो फिर होना ही सी. पढ़ो. सार्थक. Okay, thank you. Next is Harpreet, and she has got 67, 65, 74, and 67 in her test. Then is Bino, and he has got 71, 79, 68, and 75. Then is Jumadin, and he has got 68, 70, 83, and 66. Your phone? I haven't opened. एक ही है. पहले बेंच ते बैठ के हाउ इन्नी हिम्मत किदां हुई ਤੁਹਾਡੀ. वाईफाई का पासवर्ड हम देते हैं. आई मीन पासवर्ड नहीं देते. यू कैन आस्क अस, वी कैन कनेक्ट यू विद द वाईफाई ओवर हियर. अपने फोन पे यू हैव टू लाइक द पोस्ट. सुनील, हु इज द नेक्स्ट वन? हाँ जी, पढ़ो. Yeah. Then is Muhammad, and he has got 78, 77, 82, and 77 in his test. Then is Usman, and he has got 68, 66, 73, and 67. Then is Muzaffar नहीं है, Mehfoozer, huh? Mehfoozer, and he has got 70, 69, 79, and 72. Then it's Saifuddin, and he has got 73, 73, 78, and 74. Norman, and he has got 65, 68, 81, and 66. Then is Bhavuk, and he has got 83, 84, 90, and 86. Then Eid Mubarak. You can like it at your own discretion if you wish to. It's your own wish if you wish to. Then next is Subarna, and she is one of my favorite students, and she has got 90, 83, 90, and 84 in her test. Then was a holiday notice, and the last one for the day is Tina, and she has got 69, 69, 82, and 69 in her test. Okay. Let's start the class now, guys. The first question that you've got on the sheets is describe image. Anybody who's attending the class for the first time? Second class? Sheet है आपके पास? Who hasn't got the sheet? बैठो बैठो कोई नहीं मिल जल्दी. Think it है नहीं, I'll get you sheets. ते बानू ले आओगे please. उनको थोड़ी sheets दे दो. हाँ जी reception. Thank you. There is one. Yeah, bus phones band ho. Describe image. I won't describe, or maybe I'm not going to tell you that how to perform. I guess everybody knows how to perform. Abhi practice makes man and women both perfect. Print kar rahe hain? Haan ji, okay, no problem. Chandan, please do the second describe image. Anybody who has no idea about how to perform describe image, how do we perform describe image? Your good name, please. Sorry? Shikha. Shikha, have you done describe image with us before? Okay, good. Means you have a rough idea about this. All right. So everybody is familiar. Good. Chandan, the second image, and your time starts now. बस ठीक है, thank you. थोड़े जा pace slow see, it was not that fluent. These are already used, they're printing the new ones I'll give you. So you need to be more fluent, and then थोड़ा pace slow see, थोड़ा just तो fast करो. There were pauses. Who can give a perfect example of describe image? Neha. Neha, second image again, or maybe any one of your choice. And your time starts now.
At the bottom of this image, they have taken some minutes per day from 0 to 30. And at the left-hand side, they have written some graphs, but I'm not too sure about those numbers and graphs. So I'll just talk about some words.
Thank you, Neha. So guys, this is how you need to do it. Okay. So how do we start? Because starting is, I guess many of us, we struggle to start, how to start this image. So you can start with those. I have got a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look at this image. By looking closely, I can see several trends are emerging. Even if there aren't any trends emerging, even if it is a dull, boring picture, still you can say beautiful image. Kuch marzi ho, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters in this question is your fluency. So you have to be fluent. Obviously, pronunciation is the second thing, but the main point in this question is your fluency. If you're fluent enough, you're good with this question. Okay? And this is the second question of speaking. Chalo shukar hai, thode jaag rahe. This is the third question of speaking module, and how many such questions do we get? 6 to 7. You'll be getting 6 to 7 of such questions. And before each question, you get 25 seconds preparation time. So guys, in that preparation time, quickly go through the words that are there, which you are able to pronounce. If you are struggling to pronounce certain words, don't go on for pronouncing those words in your response time. Then don't pronounce those words. For example, if I'm not sure about, or maybe I'm fumbling in speaking this word, maybe non-dependent child or something, I won't speak this word, I won't read this word during my response time. Okay, so we'll only be reading out those words which we are very comfortable with. Okay, let me show you once. And for how long do we need to speak? 5 seconds. Gurdev, 25 seconds क्यों बोलना? We are liable to make more mistakes because it is going to give us the same number of marks, same amount of marks as speaking for 40 seconds. So we'll be speaking for 25 seconds only. Okay? Chalo ji. I've got a beautiful picture in front of me. Let me have a closer look at this image. By looking closely, I can see several trends are emerging here, and I have to keep on talking about this image for next 25 seconds. First of all, I'll start with the heading of this image, which is average time spent on sport and outdoor activity by living situation in 2006. There are many words, numbers, and colors in this image. First of all, I'll begin with some of the words which are parent with dependent child. Also, there are other words like partner in couple, no children, or they are non-dependent child and dependent child as well. I think I can speak more about this image, but my time is already up, so thank you very much. I'll stop here. So you have to speak for 25 seconds only. One very important, I would say, silly thing which we talk about every day in class, but still you make these silly mistakes only. Please press next while speaking. Don't stop speaking and then press next. Bol de, you'll have to press next so as to avoid pauses. Okay, and once you press next, there'll be another question, yes or no. Please, yes, press kar do. Okay, only when you press next, yes, it moves to the next question. And to be on the safe side, we recommend that you keep on speaking until you see the next image. It won't take you more than a second or two to press both next as well as yes. So you just keep on talking. Let's say, just say this thing. My time is up. I'm going to press the next button and then I'll press the yes button as well. So something like that. But you keep on speaking until you see the next question. Okay? In the mock test, you don't see, once you press next, there's no second question. Yes or no wala question, it doesn't pop up. But in the real test, it does. So, darni jana ki, what is this? Just press yes. It moves on to the next question. Okay, just one more student. Anybody who has, okay, chalo Sohail. Your time starts now. Thank you. Sunil, what mistake did he make? तो यहाँ से make maybe तनु पता लग गया you realized the mistake. Did you? कि नहीं मैंने play खाई है मेरा वैम ही है कोई तो सी पर guys मैं ना बोल के थक गई हूँ I'm sick and tired of speaking this. Whenever you read individual words or numbers from that image, please don't read them as a list of words. उनको ऐसे मत पढ़ो कि there are many words like parent with dependent child, parent in couple, no children, non-dependent child, dependent child. You are breaking down the words. You're making it very obvious to the computer that you're reading different words, a list of words. You add some fillers so that you make them look like a sentence. So there are many words in this image like parent with dependent child and partner in no couple. Also, there are other words like non-dependent child and dependent child. Moreover, there is lone person, or last but not least, there is lone person, something like that. The same thing you do with numbers as well. There are many numbers like 1 and 2. Moving on, there is 3 and 4 and 5 as well. So please do this. Let's discuss tomorrow. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next question, which is read aloud. The very first question. And guys, describe image is the only question which contributes marks to speaking only. Read aloud contributes to both speaking as well as reading. So very important question. What you need to do is very easy job. Just read it. मतलब जो सामने लिखा है, you just have to read it. That's it. As easy as it. That. Easy. So बस देख के पढ़ना है. That's it. But most of you find it the difficultest job. I mean the most difficult job. So please read it and perform it properly. I'll give you 5 minutes to go through as many read alouds as you can. And then we'll discuss them. I mean, perform them, obviously. गल्लां करने ਲਈ नहीं टाइम मिलिया पढ़ो. So there are 11. I'll give you 10 minutes. Chalo, ash karo. 10 minutes for 11 read alouds. Then I can ask anyone to read any read aloud. Padho sare. Okay. Chalo, Malim wasn't chalo. Start. Okay, guys, let's start now. So the first one to read aloud would be Amninder. And Amninder, please read the third one. And everybody else, please pay attention and listen to what the person is saying. Okay, it's okay. You're good with pronunciation, but fluency you need to work on. So, guys, in order to work on the fluency, please don't take pause anywhere. For example, beauty contests. Beauty contests. We are used to read it like this. Okay, we are used to reading it. For example, jithe bhi comma hoga. For example, the first word in the first read aloud is surprisingly. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ from this school only surprisingly. ठीक है? Please don't. We'll not, in this case for this very question, we are not going to show any imitations. Nothing of this that sort is required. We'll read it in one boring tone, but obviously we'll catch our breath. ठीक है, साथ लेना ही है. But where? At the full stops only. And that shouldn't be very long pause. Obviously, quickly catch your breath and come back again. Let me read this one. Beauty contests where it's Miss Universe or Miss Teen International are demeaning to women and out of sync with the times. Opponents say that they are nothing more than symbols of decline. Since Australians Jennifer Hawkins and Lauren Eagle were crowned Miss Universe and Miss Teen International respectively, there has been a dramatic increase in interest in beauty pageants in this country. So you'll just pause at, not pause, I would say, just catch your breath at full stops. Okay? Beauty contests. So such words are a little difficult to read when you get two kind of S's consecutively, one after one word. For example, tasks, costs, scientists, this word, contests. ठीक है, या तो सिर्फ contest ही सुनूंगा या फिर contestus हो जाता mostly. So just drag on those words a bit so that that S at the end is heard or understood by the computer. Contests, okay, tasks, scientists. और केड़ा word रह गया? चिड़ी भी रह गई. Okay, so just drag on these words a bit so that that S at the end is heard by the computer and picked by the computer, because we know that content is everything in this question. If we play with the content, the computer will play with us. It won't give us marks in reading. Okay, so we have to make sure that we read it exactly the way it is, right? Okay, next is Prabjot. And Prabjot, please read. कभी बोलिया करो, कुछ पता लगे. Okay, please read. Let's go for the easy one. Fifth one. Okay, go on. पढ़ो. प्रभजोत कितने वर्ड अपने वालों ऐड करी जा रहे सी ये कितने वर्ड्स चेंज भी कीते एंड यू वर नॉट फ्लुएंट एज वेल प्रैक्टिस कर दे हो स्पीकिंग आई थिंक लास्ट टाइम भी व्हेन आई आस्क्ड यू टू रीड I gave you kind of similar comments. Now you are not fluent. No doubt your pronunciation is not that bad. So if you just work on your fluency, you will be good. ठीक है बहुत सारे pauses आ रहे हैं. So and you're changing many words as well. Please work. Next one. Shika. Shika, please read. Ninth one. It was good. You just missed one though. To maximize the time, the mothers. Okay, but other than that, it was good. Nice one. Have you set for the test already, Shika? Okay. तब 2 साल अंदर ही थे, 2 दिन बाद पता नहीं की चेंज हो जाना है. Anyways, uh, the reason why I asked you was because if you are already getting your desired score in speaking, be it any 6, 7, 8, whatever your desired score is, then you do it the same way the way you're doing. But otherwise, you are a little fast. Okay, because if we speak very fast, the computer won't be pick the words. But you were clear as well. You were not that. I mean, upgrading your reading was good. So you were clear. So it's okay. Nice. Next one. Sunil, please read the last one, 11th.
but were protected by their unions and allowed to keep their job. Poor workers and excellent workers often receive the same pay and rise, giving no reason for a person to work harder than necessary at their job.
थोड़ा pronunciation the work करो Sunil, please. But again, आलो काफी improvement है. It is pay and raise. बाकी तुसी obviously you got stuck at harassment. So, Gurudev, please read the second one.
A gentleman from a Louisiana town, a man without independent wealth, without powerful family connections, and without a university education, moved to London in late 15th century, and in a remarkable short time became the greatest playwright, not of his age alone, but of all time. How did Shakespeare become Shakespeare?
पता नहीं पूछना पड़ा. Okay, you can be a little more fluent, but आप काफी long break तो बाद आए हो, so it was good. Okay, but obviously you need to improve on the both fluency as well as pronunciation. But it was not bad, kind of after such a long break. Nice. One last student, Manjot. Please read 8th one.
That the track grew almost a centimeter wider during the warmest part of the day. Shrank, shrank again when temperatures cooled off, for instance at night and during the winter. But overall, the scientists found that the average width of the fracture grew over the course of a summer and over the entire 3.5 year study period, bringing the crack to its
कि article हाँ जी हाँ, it's okay, but you're good otherwise. सही सी बाकी may God bless you with a good voice in the exam. बाकी सब सही सी. Okay guys, and now let's move. Anybody who voluntarily wants to read? Sohail and Bas. Sohail, please read the 5th one, and your good name, please. Jasmine. Jasmine 10th. Okay. Sohail, पढ़ो.
Howard believed that all clouds belonging to three distinct groups.
मुश्किल दे दिया. एक सेकंड. हाँ हाँ.
Howard believed that all clouds belong to three distinct groups: calculus, status, and progress health. He added a fourth category, nimbus, to describe a cloud in the act of condensation into rain, hail, or snow. It is by observing how clouds change color and shapes that weather can be predicted. And as long as the first three types of clouds keep their normal shape, there won't be any rain.
कितना कुछ चेंज कर दिया. चलो कोई बात नहीं. जैस्मिन फ्लुएंट भी नहीं थे. सॉरी जैस्मिन, फ्लुएंट भी नहीं थे.
There are perhaps three ways of looking at furniture. Some people see it as purely functional and useful and don't bother themselves with aesthetics. Others see it as essential to civilized living and concern themselves with design and how the furniture will look in the home.
and yet others see furniture as a form of art.
Nice. The only word which you didn't pronounce properly was aesthetics. Okay, other than that, it was nice. Okay, guys, now I'll give you 10 minutes to solve the reading part. Question number 3, 10 minutes. Guys, I think we should start discussing. So question number 3 is reading and writing blanks, drop down blanks. So these are one type of blanks which we get in reading, obviously. So what happens in this case is for each blank you'll have 4 to 5 options. Normally, generally there are 4 options, but it could be 5 options as well sometimes. So there'll be a drop down button. When you click on that button, 4 options will pop up and you'll have to select the relevant option, right? So what we do in this question is, in both the blanks, we read the passage, understand the context, and then we try to fit in the blanks. And it is very important to understand the context, guys. It is not important key you should know the meaning of each and every word. So understanding the meaning of each and every word is not important, but understanding the context is obviously important. Okay? की तो हंसा रहे हैं? अच्छा. Okay. Okay, let's quickly read this passage. There were 26 freshmen dash in English at Beijing Language Institute in the class of 1983. I was dashed to group 2 with another 11 boys and girls who had dashed big cities in China. I was told that language study required smallness so that we would get more attention from the skillful teachers. The better the school, the smaller the class. I realized that my classmates were already all dash in English, simple sentences tossed out to each other in their red-faced introductions and carefree chatting. Their intonations were curving and dramatic, and the pronunciation refined and accurate. But as I stretched to catch the drips and drops of their humming dialogue, I couldn't dash at all, only that it was English. Those words now flying before me sounded a little familiar. I had read them and tried to speak them, but I had never dashed them spoken back to me in such a speedy, fluent manner. My big plan of dash the city folks was throwing before my eyes. Okay, one by one. So the first one, there were 26 freshmen dash in English. Okay, let's take the options one by one. Who picked majoring? Majoring in English. Kida major? Major saab wala major? Major. Okay, why Akshay majoring? Why? अक्षय की लॉजिक है तो आर होता तो कुछ और होता इन तो है so your answer is studying. Okay, so पहले we are discussing majoring. So what Neha is saying that because it is talking about a particular subject which is a major subject, so it is better to say majoring, which is okay, sounds good to me. हाँ की तू ही बोले मेजॉरिटी बच्चे हो कर रहे हैं Okay, Amrinder, why did you pick majoring? So you picked something else? नहीं अच्छा मतलब you what have you picked otherwise? Majoring? Okay, but ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ change ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ. Okay, चलो let's leave keep majoring at side for the moment. तन्नो बात हासा होगा कि what have you picked? Learning. How many of you picked learning in English? Studying in English? Speaking in English? Gurminder, what have you picked? क्यों? Okay. पहला जो कीता से दो ये नहीं पता लगा भी क्यों कीता. अच्छा. Okay, guys, the answer is majoring. Why it is majoring now? Let's study this. There were 26 freshmen dash in English at Beijing Language Institute in the class of 1983. Now, if I say, now are they learning the English language or they are learning some other subject in English language? So there's a difference between when you say study English language or study in English language. When we say studying English language or learning English language, it means you are studying that language, you are learning that language, English language. But when we say studying in English or learning in English, it means you are learning some other subject, maybe math, science, history, something else, but in English. So there's a difference. But over here, since it is a language institute, obviously you are learning English language only. It is a major subject. So you cannot say learning in English or studying in English, because they are studying that language itself, not studying in English. Any Punjab board the school hai, but they are learning in English. Okay, but they are studying that language itself. So if it would have been studied, there wouldn't have been in. We could have thought of this option, but even then, majoring was a better option. But fir bhi we could have thought of this option, studying English language or learning English language. But studying in, yeah, learning in, to no ways. Okay. Okay. The next one. Six freshmen, पता नहीं मैं मुझे fisherman क्यों निकल रहा freshman दी जगह पे. There were 26 freshmen majoring in English at Beijing Language Institute in the class of 1983. I was dashed to group 2. I was given to group 2. I was मुझे उठा के दे दिया गया था. I was nominated to group 2. मुझे nominate किया गया था group 2 के लिए. No. I was fallen to, गिर गया उनके पैरों में. Please take me into your group. अपनी assignments से छुंदा ਹੁੰਦਾ कभी-कभी, so that we don't have to work group assignments, which especially. So the answer is assigned to, means I was put in that group. So I was assigned to group 2. क्योंकि group work which पता है कि हाँ एक दो जने ने काम करना है, बाकी वेलियां मारो. Okay, group 2 with another 11 boys and girls who had dashed big cities in China. Jonah came from? Come from? Why, Vishal? Yes. So because there is had, so it has to be third form of the verb. Yeah. Come, came, come. It is not come, came. It's come, came, come. So it has to be come from, not came from. Who picked came from? So it's come, came, come. एक वीडियो आंदे ना टीचर्स दे जेडे which teach 3 forms of, I think Grammarly या कुछ something, किसी को टीचर सिखाता है ना 3 different forms of verbs music में गा के come, came, come, ये वो पता नहीं. So please watch that video. So it is come from. Can we ever say belong from? It is always belong to. Exactly. I come from India, but I belong to India. We will not say I belong from India. I belong to hota hai hamesha. Okay. Okay, next one. I realized that my classmates were already all dash in English. Talking. Who picked fighting in English? English लड़ाई करने का कोई मजा नहीं आता. Learning in English. Writing in English. Why? Let me pick. Mandeep, why did you pick talking? Mandeep? Okay, even that is fine. In the same sentence itself, they are saying in the red face introductions and carefree chatting. So it has to be talking. Okay. So all talking in English, simple sentences tossed out to each other in the red phrase introductions and carefree chatting. The next one. But as I stretched to catch the drips and drops of their humming dialogue, I couldn't dash it all. Understand. You cannot feel or you cannot realize a language. Okay. So either it has to be understand or gauge. What do we mean by gauge? Gauge means to measure. So if you have studied Sir's essays, gauge is a very common word which is used in that essay, formal written examination. To gauge a student's performance means to judge, to measure student's performance. Now, if they are saying I means the writer, he himself is a beginner and novice. So how can he judge others' performance? So he was trying to understand it. Okay, and from the context as well, it is very clear it has to be understand. I couldn't understand it all, only that it was English. The same feeling which many of us have when we start our classes here. Initially, we are not able to get much in our classes. Not because we don't know English, just because of their accent. They are saying something in English, but we are not able to get most of it. Unless and until our listening skills are obviously good. English movies, मुंडिया ने बहुत strong होता है, especially Fast and Furious and ये वो. So if you are obviously if you have good listening skills, then it's okay. But otherwise, okay. Clear, Sunny? Okay. Okay, so I couldn't understand it all, only that it was English. Those words now flying before me sounded a little familiar. I had read them and tried to speak them, but I had never dashed them spoken back to me. Yes, exactly. The answer is heard. So I had read them and I tried to speak them, but I had never heard them spoken back to me in such a fluent manner. Okay. My big plan of dash the city folks was thawing before my eyes. Beating, matlab, marketappa. Beating somebody in competition means leaving somebody behind. Okay, so beating. So my big plan of beating the city folks was thawing before my eyes. Guys, now, as all of you know, these are special materials, whatever we are doing since 3-4 days and whatever we'll be doing for the next few days till I guess 11th or 12th of September. Please go through all these materials thoroughly. These are seriously very important. In apni roti thoda thoda roj khol ke piya karo or keep it underneath your pillow or something. Do whatever. You have to go through these materials. This is seriously very important. Now all these blanks you write them 10 times. You write them 10 times. तो लिखोगे कि don't just keep write majoring कल्ला major की कर लूँगा. You write them in this context. For example, 26 freshmen majoring in English. 26 freshmen majoring in English. So write them this way 10 times. 10 times, okay? School time yaad karo, whatever. Hasso, kiddo, I don't know. But you write them 10 times. Okay? Yes. Because it has been proved from the last mock test that you guys are not good at keeping the things in your mind. Those 14th and 15th drop down blanks, not many of you, only a handful of people were able to do well in those questions, 14, 15. Majority of you failed in that question. So please keep these in your mind, write them 10 times, means 10 times. Apart from that, it's not just about these blanks. Apart from that, you have to go through the whole passage thoroughly. For example, if in the last sentence, they would have given it to you like this. My big plan of beating the city folks was dash before my eyes. So in the options, if they give you thawing plus the other 3 options, you should be this much familiar with this passage that you know that the answer is thawing. ठीक है ना? बस समझ लो हम. Okay? So please go through these passages very carefully. All right? And familiarize yourself with all the words which you are not familiar about. Okay, the next one now. The ocean floor is home to many unique communities. And guys, before I forget, 2 minutes per question in reading, only 2 minutes. So for this whole passage, only 2 minutes. Over here, we have given you, I guess, 7 blanks. But in the exam, in drop down, you get 4 to 5 blanks only. Okay, so 2 minutes per question. Not for one blank, but for this whole question. All right. Okay. The ocean floor is home to many unique communities of plants and animals. Most of these marine ecosystems are near the water surface, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000-kilometer long coral dash of the northeastern coast of Australia. Coral reefs, like nearly all complex living communities, depend on solar energy for growth. The sun's energy, however, penetrates at most only about 300 meters below the surface of the water. The relatively shallow penetration of solar energy and the sinking of cold subpolar water combine to make most of the deep ocean floor a dash environment with few life forms. In 1977, scientists discovered hot spring at a depth of 2.5 kilometers on the Galapagos Rift off the coast of Ecuador. This exciting discovery was not really a dash. Since the early 1970s, scientists had predicted that hot springs should be found the active spreading centers along the mid-oceanic ridge, where magma at temperatures over 1000 Celsius presumably was being erupted to form new oceanic crust. More exciting, because it was totally dash, was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life, giant tube worms, huge clams, and सुबह से इसका confusion चल रहा है. Some are saying mussels, some are saying mussels. Chalo. Anyways, mussels ही जान दो, डोले. And mussels that dash around the hot springs. Okay. The first one now. Most of these marine ecosystems are near the water surface, such as the Great Barrier Reef, a 2,000-kilometer long coral dash off. Let's go one by one. How many of you picked construction? Nobody picked construction? Okay. Formation. Running. Is it a water body which can run? Discovery. Okay. Why didn't anybody pick construction? फिर? हाँ, तो? Construction and formation are the same, so you ruled out both the options. Good. Guys, construction cannot be the option because they are talking about Great Barrier Reef. Can you construct a Great Barrier Reef? किन्ने दी दिहाड़ी दोगे मिस्त्री नूं to construct Great Barrier Reef? So construction is something manual. When you construct, you can construct a building, a bridge, or anything, but you cannot construct natural features. They are formed due to the natural phenomena. So the answer is formation, not construction. Sati Dasod, honestly, who picked construction? Okay, chalo. Next. Change kar liya se baat chalo bol diya. Okay. Okay, next one now. The relatively shallow penetration of solar energy and the sinking of cold subpolar water combine to make most of the deep ocean floor a dash environment with few life forms. Who picked rigid? Rigid environment? How can an environment be rigid? Rigid का मतलब क्या होता है? Something which is too tough, hard, stuck, stubborn. So environment cannot be rigid. Who picked congenial? Obviously, congenial environment makes sense. And then what is the meaning of congenial? Don't say that मतलब नहीं पता congenial. The early marriage वाला ऐसे पढ़ा कि नहीं पढ़ा? Guys, that's why it is important. That's the, I would say, the second benefit of reading Sir's essays. You come across many new words. Congenial means something favorable, positive, cozy. That is congenial. So over here, when they are saying that below 300 meters of that sea level surface, the sunlight is not able to penetrate. It has got only few life forms. Will it be a congenial environment for the sea life? Never. So when it has got few life forms, obviously it is not a congenial environment for them to survive over there. Rather, it is a frigid environment, which means frozen. Okay, too cold. Fridge to yaad rakh liyo, frigid. Okay, so frigid means frozen. In 1977, scientists discovered hot springs at a depth. This exciting discovery was not really a dash. Surprise? Why surprise? I mean, Sohail will say. Sorry, discovery. You said discovery. Ah. Okay, it's surprise. No. They are actually saying it was not really a surprise. If you are saying surprise. Yes, so this is the answer, guys, because in the next sentence they're saying since the early 1970s scientists had predicted. So obviously if something has been already predicted, how can it be a surprise? So if somebody calls you that I'm coming to your place in the evening, Shamluk, and surprise, so will you be surprised? No, obviously, because you already knew that somebody is coming. So that's why obviously it cannot be a surprise. Okay, next one, more exciting because it was totally dash expected. So if something is already expected, how can it be exciting? More exciting because it was totally dash. Now why it was exciting? Because it was totally dash. So it cannot be expected anyways. Either it can, or neutral to ho nahi sakta, because if something is exciting, how can you be neutral? So either it has to be unwanted or unexpected. And we know that in this context, unexpected is a better fitting word Guys, there is a difference between unwanted and unexpected. Unwanted we always use for negative expressions. Okay, for example, if we don't want the guest, we'll say unwanted guests, let's say. But unexpected guests can reveal both positive as well as negative meanings. Depends. Agar, for example, for girls especially, not every girl, jeta koi package hoga, obviously it will be unexpected guest from package you got na, from your maternal. Okay? If you get your maternal guest, obviously you'll be happy. It will be unexpected guest, but you'll be happy about it. But if from if you get some guests from in-laws side, then it will be again unexpected, but you won't be happy in a negative sense then. Okay, so over here obviously it conveys a positive meaning, so it can never be unwanted. Why it should be positive? Because they are saying discovery of abundant and unusual sea life. So how many of you watched that movie, the Treasure Island? Treasure Island, yeah, na? Nee. Journey to a Mysterious Island, the Rock Valley. So over there, they found altogether new island. New life they found. So over here, they are saying abundant and unusual sea life. So they found something in a huge amount, large amount, and it was something unusual. So obviously, it has to be unexpected, not unwanted. Okay. So more exciting, because it was totally unexpected, was the discovery of abundant and unusual sea life, this, that dash around the hot springs. Thrived. Now, obviously, died can never be the option. Okay, if they have found it, why would they be excited if it is already dead? Okay. Developed. Now, can this life be developed? Koi baith ke banauga? No. Either it can be excelled or thrived. Who picked excelled? Okay, and who picked thrived? Guys, the answer is thrived. Okay, why? You can excel in your career, you can excel in studies, but you cannot excel in your health. Whenever it comes to talking about biological things, sea life, your health and all that stuff, you can never say excel. Thrive can be used for both. In case of your health, biological functions, as well as you can thrive in your career, you can thrive in your health. You can thrive, maybe, for example, if I have to say, yes, my brother is excelling in his health. No, my brother is thriving. It means he's growing, he's getting the nourishment, proper nourishment. So thrive is the word which can be used for both health related things, or you can say biological functions, as well as other materialistic things. But excel can be used only in materialistic sense more. Excelling in career, excelling in studies, and excelling in other things, but never for this life and all that stuff. Okay, so the answer is thrived. Okay, the last one, guys, this last one, I understand many of us won't be able to understand even the last all the options. I also studied all the options, majority of them, what are their meanings actually. So, but don't get disheartened. Still, we'll read the passage, because something, especially the first one. Let's read the passage first. Plants and Animals are a Montreal-based indie rock trio that began playing together as kids, touring arduously for about 5 years about their proper full-length debut in 2008. They pretty much made their records on the go until 2013. So the band's decision to be slow, deliberate, and thorough on their latest offering, Waltzed In From the Rumbling, represents a major change of pace. Finally, sleeping in their own beds while recording, the band assembled the album over the course of 9 seasons. It's a return to their origins, but it also pushes dash forward. The aesthetic varies widely and wonderfully from track to track, each song having its own dash, but somehow still melding cohesively as a body of work. Jangling guitars, drums leaning toward the off-kilter swing of Jay Dilla found sounds. A hint of shoegaze and unorthodox instrumentation come together to keep the ear constantly engaged with a feeling of constant evolution. They found an antique Euro next to a broken VCR and recorded both. They made an empty fridge sound like a timpani drum. They recorded gossip on a city bus. They brought in classical string flourishes. They sometimes left mistakes if they felt they were perfectly imperfect. It's truly DIY, but with a feel of big production value that makes the album soar. What do we mean with this word soar? Soar? Khatta wala soar? Which is that word? It is SOUR, and it is pronounced as sour. Sour. SOUR is pronounced as sour. This soar means the same word, soaring concern. The problem solution means soar means rising or increasing. Sorry? No, no, that is SORE, I guess. This is SOAR, means rising or increasing. Okay. Contemplative lyrics anchor the album through all the exploratory dash. The words are delivered melodically, belaying their potency, but listening beyond the pretty aesthetic reveals piercing observations and an undeniable translation of feeling. The simplicity of the penetrating refrain on the three-part mini dash is a paragon of how the lyrics effortlessly cut through the instrumentation. Chalo, bahut hai. Let's start discussing the blanks. It's a return to their origins, but it also pushes dash forward. The word is audaciously. Who picked cowardly? Arrogantly? Hmm? Effectively? Okay, and who all picked audaciously? Joanna, why did you pick audaciously? Doesn't they don't fit here? What is the meaning of this word? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it sounds good to you. Okay. Anybody else? Sounds good. Same. The same. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody who has a better maybe explanation that why audaciously fits here? Hanji. Hanji? No, 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 no. Audaciously means boldly, daring. Somebody who's that audacious person means something who's very bold, something who's somebody who's very fearless, doesn't think twice before doing anything, before going against the norms, or before doing anything which is not otherwise, which others maybe think twice before taking that step. So that is something audacious, bold. Now, why it fits over here? If you read this sentence, guys, so the band's decision to be slow, deliberate, and thorough on their latest offering represents a major change of pace. So they adopted a particular strategy that they had to be slow and steady, yeah, in their career, and that was something against the norm of that time. Others maybe they were trying to do something else. For example, Miss Puja types, yeah, one song after the other, katti jao, katti jao, katti jao. But what they were trying to do was they were trying to be slow and steady in their career, and that was something not accepted at that time. So what happened because of this step, because of this bold step, what happened? It represents a major change of pace. So that changed the whole scenario of that time. So that's why audaciously, effectively could have been correct if audaciously was not there. Yeah, but obviously audaciously, according to the context, is a better fitting word. Okay, so the answer is audaciously. So it's a return to their origins. So how this started, that's why these are the returns they are getting at the moment. Okay, it's a return to their origins, but it also pushes audaciously forward. Okay, so the steps they took at their earlier times, they are pushing them now in their career. The next one, the aesthetic varies wildly and wonderfully from track to track, each song having its own. What do you mean by lithic? Huh? The answer is anyways hermetic, the first option. Lithic, what I understood was related to some archaeology. Yeah, lithic stones, kind of, that is lithic. The answer is hermetic. Now there is a collocation, guys, hermetic seal. I'll write it. Okay, hermetic seal. Now, what is this hermetic seal? Means something is so closely or tightly packed that you cannot differentiate them. You cannot get them separated. That is hermetic seal. Let's take an example. For example, you have got an album of songs which has got 5 songs. All those songs are different from one another. For example, let's say one is romantic song, the other one is melodious, the third one is maybe some sad song or something. So all the songs are different from one another, but still there would be something in them which will bind them together, which will make them look like one. Let's say maybe they'll be sung by one singer, by the same singer, or maybe the music is given by the same singer, or maybe in this context what they're trying to say is, because they were so similar, the type of music, the type of composition they used or maybe composed was so similar, not exactly similar, it was different, but their way of production of that music was similar. Matlab, producing music from some odd things, let's say fridge and all that stuff, whatever they have mentioned. Yeah, fridge ko use karo, then using the sound of crowd, all that stuff. So there was something in there which was making, still, although it was different, but कुछ चीज़ों में कुछ ऐसी common चीजें थी which were binding them together. So that is hermetic. Maybe their culture, their tradition, the way of production of music, so something was similar. So the answer is hermetic. A new word I know for me as well. Okay. So the answer is hermetic. And how will you keep this in mind? Having its own hermetic. Having its own hermetic. कितनी बार लिखना? How many times? 10 times. And please do it for your own benefit. Okay? The thing which I repeat daily, roti खा के रख दी हूँ. Now we are just asking you to please eat it. मुंह तक तुसी खोलोगे तो फिर ही मुझ पाओगे ना. So please open your mouth and eat it. ठीक है? Okay. The next one, contemplative lyrics anchor the album through all the exploratory dash. The answer is wanderings. What do we mean by wander? Means to roam around. Okay. Now you can keep this in mind from this. Explorers, they keep on moving from one place to another in search of some good thing. So that's why the answer should be wanderings, exploratory wanderings. Okay. The last one, the simplicity of the penetrating refrain on the 3-part mini. The answer is opus. Second option, opus. Now, but that's the in literal sense as well as grammatically, both chorus and opus are correct. Yeah, grammatically we both are correct. Literally as well, both are correct. But opus is correct option. Why? Because the writer chose to write. Jo writer tha is passage ka, he chose to write opus. He didn't write chorus. So sir purposefully gave you these two options so that if you face the similar options over there, then you choose to write opus and not chorus. Bus. Okay, so the answer is 3-part mini opus. Opus means music composition only. Yeah. Okay, and chorus means the same, of course. Okay, guys, we finished the session here. Thank you very much. Please go through them. I'm saying it again and again for your own benefit. Thank you.